Hey family, Pastor Willingham here. We're talking day 72. And at this place here, what we're talking about is with freedom comes responsibility. You know, when we get free from a situation, with that freedom comes a responsibility. The people of Israel here in this particular passage in Exodus 14, verse 11 and 12. See, when they were in bondage, there's something about being in bondage that when someone else has control over our lives, there is a type of a responsibility that they've had over us. There's things that we didn't have to do for ourselves. When someone else controls everything, then it can put us in a position where, you know, we haven't had a lot of responsibility. And sometimes people complain about being under control or being under someone else's control. But while they were under that control, what they didn't have was that responsibility for their own lives. And this is what happens here with Israel, is that when they step out of bondage, well, with that freedom comes responsibility. With that freedom comes responsibility. And now they have to fend for themselves. And this is why sometimes, you know, people opt to stay under bondage. People complain on one hand about someone having control and of their lives, and on the other hand, they don't really want to be fully responsible for their own lives, because now they become totally responsible for themselves, and that takes us into an entirely different realm of responsibility and accountability. And so here again, Exodus 14, 11, and 12 reads this way: the people complained to Moses because there were no graves in Egypt as they were moving out of Egypt. And it said to Moses, "Thou hast taken us away to die in the wilderness. Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt?" And so on one hand, again, they complained about being in bondage in Egypt, but now that they're being free and they're faced with the responsibility of taking care of themselves, they complain about being free. In verse 12 here, they say, "Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone?" You see, some people, again, complain about being in a situation that they don't want to be in. And then when the opportunity comes to get free, the prospect of being totally responsible for oneself, you know, makes them say, well, just leave us alone. Leave us alone, that we might serve the Egyptians. For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And you see, sometimes when it comes right down to it, some people they would rather stay in a bad situation than take the risk and the responsibility of being totally responsible for themselves. And sometimes the fear of their own power, the fear of their own ability to control their lives is so scary that they stay in a bad situation. And this is why sometimes people don't step out like they should. But understand this: God wants you to be free. God wants you to have full autonomy over your life. But with that freedom comes a responsibility that you be totally responsible and accountable for your life. And you're able to do it if you would be willing to just step out. And so God bless you. I thank you for listening. And I invite you to subscribe and share this information with someone whom you love, whose life you can change. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.